every time I went up on the blocks, no matter what event it was, I knew I was going to win. Whether I did it or not,
Yeah.
that was the mindset I had. Like, that's the mindset you have to have because I've done the training. I rely on my training, and I've trained harder than anyone in the world. So when I got up those blocks, I was like, this is my event, whether it happens or not.
Jameel Muhammad and Jeff Cardozo dive into the hobby, which is sports cards, trading cards, as well as all other collectibles, right now on the Meelypod Hobby Podcast, live from the Coaches Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill.
All right, hey everybody, it is that time again for the Meelypod Hobby Podcast, your normal cast of characters with a character in himself is our guest today, the great Ryan Lochte. I am Jeff Cardozo, he is Jameel Muhammad, and we are live at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill here at Celebration Point. Appreciate everybody for tuning in once again, and gosh, I think you were probably tuned in, locked in, any kind of in this past weekend, because we talked about Black Friday. You're alive. You made it, but how was it?
Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I'm ready to go, baby. It was by far our best weekend we've ever had with our shop. There was people lined up for outside our shop 2 hours before we opened, which I never would have thought.
Really?
That why would you want to line up at a card shop that early? I looked at other buddies of mine, guys that we've had on the podcast. You know, Ryan from our BI crew and Andy from Indie Card Exchange. Hundreds of people outside their stores. So it shows, I think, a lot. If you have good customer service, if you have good deals and you're honest about things, you're gonna do well in this business.
Yeah.
You know, so that was blew me away. I think we had about 75 people outside before we opened, and of course our store's not huge, so when you try and fit that many people in there, it was a little crazy, but it was good. We had just deals everywhere. The stuff was getting ransacked, and nobody punched each other out.
That's
or
good.
No elbow drops from a Karen to another Karen. It was definitely a fun time. But it just kind of goes to show, I think, the community of the hobby is very strong, and people want to be in card shops on Black Friday. And that's an honor. That's a privilege that people could go anywhere. You know, there's a lot of things going on out there, but they want to be at the card shop.
Well, I just think the opportunity to just sit there and be a part of all that and and see those deals firsthand and just pick and choose what you want. I'm sure you had a lot of single cards too, because I know the percentages you gave off of those cards were awesome. So it's like, hey, all of a sudden I might not been able to get that card, or I've been eyeing it, and all of a sudden I get this great deal, and I'm going to go get it. So it makes people happy. So that's what's great about it.
Same thing with memorabilia. You know, a lot of people who are eyeing memorabilia for a while, and so they're able to pick up some pieces. One thing that we did is we had a $1,000 giveaway we had, and that was a lot of fun. Just seeing so many kids come in and just be excited about just the holidays and being in a card shop with their dad or their mom. That's really what it's about. So busy weekend. I think we increased our sales from last year by it's like 62% or something. Wow. It was amazing jump. And then of course we were streaming all day too on Black Friday, which there was a little bit of chaos in the shop when you have shipping. You literally have stuff has to get out because it's Friday is a ship day. You have streaming going on whatnot, Instagram and TikTok, and then you have a store packed with hundreds of people. So it was a little chaotic, but at the same time we made it through. And thank you to the local community across the nation. I watched a lot of folks on the Black Friday, the card shops that did a good job and marketed it well and had good deals. It seemed like you guys are packed. So that's the way it should be.
I guess you didn't hit the Paul Skeens patch auto though, right?
You know what? I was thinking about that card today. That card, there's two cards that come to mind: the Paul Skeens debut patch auto, and then the Connor Bedard 1/1 black or gold Young Guns, which is a bounty for $1 million too. So I think about these two cards, and I'm like, where are they? Mm-hmm. Did these companies hold them back? Like, what's going on? So we'll see what happens. That debut patch, people are still looking for it. The product Chrome is still hot. But we'll get into the wax segment later. We got another hot product coming out with a guy named Jack who's going to be featured into it. So a lot of stuff coming out with Bowman Draft.
Yeah, that'll be good. Fanatics Fest too. What's that all about?
Yeah, they just announced that they're going to have Fanatics Fest again June 20th through the 22nd. This is important because Fanatics Fest, the first one they had in August, was such a huge success. Tons of people about it. I got to have Gronk smash a case in front of my face and almost take out my eye. But it was a great experience for lots of reasons. And then what happened was they had these other events scheduled. PNC was the baseball park, Pittsburgh Pirates, I think it is.
Yep.
And then they had Fanatics Fest Orlando scheduled, and they had one in LA. And all three of those events were canceled. So a lot of people are kind of mull and, let's see what's going to happen here. I'd love to hear what you guys think about it in the comments, or, make a note. If you think it's going to be well attended, you think it's going to happen, why do you think they canceled these other events? But for us, we'll be back there if they invite us again. I know it was invite only last year, so we're happy to be there and bring the Meelypops brand to New York City again.
Well, something that makes everybody happy too is certainly the holidays, and I think you've always been great at giving back to kids and different charities and things that are going on. So we think about some of that stuff this holiday season.
Yeah.
Anything cool happening?
Sure. So Giving Tuesday was is this week and was this week, and one thing that we've always wanted to do is try and give back in different things. So there's two things that I'm really proud of. One, just for many of you who came to the shop and got to meet Caleb Dressel, we took in donations for Children's Miracle Network. So the shop and that we raised over, I think it's $500 to give to a local charity for that. But something that's really speaks a lot to, I think, hard work and trying to make things about the community is the one thing we did up in South Carolina. So Joanna, who runs the shop up in there, and I were talking about, hey, when we run this card show, there's people out here who are really struggling, specifically in Western North Carolina and those areas from that Hurricane Helene. And so we decided to give $8,000 from the Meelypops brand towards, I think it's the Samaritan's Purse out there Hurricane Relief Cleanup Fund, which is really all stemmed from that card show. And we wanted to take primarily all the profits from that and give back to that area. And so that's something that we've done, and it's something that I think I'm really proud of because you can host a show, you can do all these things, people can come and spend money, but how are you really kind of helping and blessing the community? So that's one thing that I know was dear to our hearts, and just met a lot of people and seeing what happened up in Asheville and Chimney Rock and those areas. So be able to give some money back to help. It's not a lot, but it's something that we can do to give back and help maybe the folks up there with rebuilding.
That's what it's all about. Well, I'm never going to get this back, but maybe now I'm punching myself because I think all the Jameis Winston cards that I ever got, I used them as dartboards, and I threw stuff at them. Like, now all of a sudden Jameis is throwing for 580 million touchdowns. Like, is all of a sudden Jameis Winston going to be a thing?
I know, it's like Peyton Manning reincarnated or something. What's going on out there with the way? I mean, again, he's a gunslinger. He throws some picks as well.
Yeah.
So Jameis Winston's such an interesting study. The Browns are in general too, because no one really, like, you look at the AFC North, like, no one really thought about them as a team that anybody would care about. And I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but the fact that they've captured, all of America's heart and Jameis's pregame speeches and, all the things that he's doing, the motivation, all that stuff is quite interesting. So his cards have seen an uptick, man. They've trended up. I think it's a hype thing, to be honest. That I don't know, but Deshaun Watson's crippled that organization. So is Jameis their future quarterback? I don't know what's going to happen there. So we'll see in Cleveland. It'll be interesting. And speaking of cards that are just kind of popping off, Bowman Chrome University came out last week, and the one quarterback auto that everybody wants starts with the letters DJ. So I know we're not a Gator podcast, but we are in Gainesville, and DJ Lagway is
the hottest thing,
killing the Bowman Chrome University secondary market right now. He's played so well in his last, really all the games that he started in. And so you've seen that on the secondary market of his base auto selling for hundreds of dollars, his refractors $300-$400, his low numbered $500 to $1,000. Wow. So this is amazing to see out of a college football product that's $150 a box, right? So it's been a lot of fun to kind of beyond that. We had people pull some of those cards in shop. I opened some. I even pulled a green auto of DJ Lagway. So you got high on my own supply, is what they say.
What a baby.
Yeah. So just a lot of fun. Bowman Chrome, Breaker's Delight, Hobby, Jumbo, Mega Box. There's so many iterations of that. But yeah, some quarterbacks that are on the rise for sure.
Yeah, so worth getting for this holiday Christmas season, and kids would love it because again, they're in their college unis, and that is really special. Well, somebody that I thought was going to be special this year, I invested a number 1 overall pick in Christian McCaffrey, goes down again. So not only is he hurting everybody's fantasy team, was probably the number 1 pick in many of these drafts, but like I feel like you had the number 1 pick. You were an idiot if you didn't take him.
Yeah.
Or if you took Tyreek or CeeDee Lamb, those guys aren't doing good either. But now with him getting hurt again, missing the rest of the year, he's getting up there in age.
Yeah.
Like you go from this great season and probably everybody wanted his card to now all of a sudden a year later basically being non-existent. does the McCaffrey card now suffer?
Yeah, he's definitely going to suffer. I saw the injury in slow mo. It doesn't look good for that leg. I can't tell if it's Achilles or what, but it just didn't look good. I think when you think about running backs, it's a very, very, kill or be killed type, mentality when it comes to cards. McCaffrey's from the 2017 class, and so that also has a guy named Mahomes in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you think about the wax and those products, they were very expensive. They're still extremely expensive. And now for him to kind of drop off in that is really going to hurt, I think, that class from the standpoint of value, because you don't have anybody but Mahomes. Nobody's collecting Trubisky. Watson really fallen off. And now you have CMC out too. So it's a little tricky with that set or that year. But I would say it's going to be really hard for him to retain and gain back those values. It's going to be a long road to recovery for him. He's out for the season. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then to get to these levels where he once was. Whereas someone like Saquon and Derrick Henry in the offseason, you could have bought it a fraction of Christian McCaffrey's pricing, and look at where they're at now.
Now they're blowing up. Just about getting to the right team and
staying healthy too.
Yeah, doing their thing. Well, this guy did his thing for many, many years.
Oh, yeah.
Not one, not two, not three, but 4 Olympics and 12 medals when it's all said and done. That is the second most out of any male swimmer in the history of the sport. That is Ryan Lochte, and he is going to join us here in studio. So looking forward to that. We'll take a quick break, come back, and have that conversation. You won't want to miss it.
Yeah, don't want to miss
Lochte's
it.
a lot of fun, so I'm sure he'll be that way when we return on the Meelypod Hobby Podcast.
Albert, Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
This is Jameel, owner of the Meelypop shop, Gainesville's home for collectibles of all sorts, including every single type of sports cards, whether it be Panini, Topps, Leaf, Upper Deck. We have it. Come on in, get yourself a box, a pack, get yourself some supplies, get into our breaks, get your Pokemon, get your Yu-Gi-Oh! All the other different kinds of TCG products that we carry and shop are always fully in stock. You can find our stuff on our website as well, Meelypops.com. That's another way you can interact with the store, or you can just come into the shop. We're located off 39th Avenue by I-75 behind Walgreens and Sonny's. Stop on by. We're open every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And you can check us out on our social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, whatnot, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We'd love to see you. Come on out to the shop, have some fun, be a part of the card community here in Gainesville, and always go Gators.
All right, we welcome you back. Jeff and Jameel still here inside Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, and we are joined by Ryan Lochte, the great Ryan Lochte. It should be a lot of fun just talking about different things, Ryan. And for those that don't know, which you obviously should know, 12-time Olympian and medalist. And, I guess that's where we start because it's just fascinating. I mean, you're, the second most male medals in the history of the sport. Mm-hmm. And all these things are going on. So, where does one at what age, come up with the mindset of, hey, I'm going to lock in, I'm going to be really good at this thing, and I'm going to just go out there with that mindset just to kick everybody's ass every time I go to a race?
I guess I was a late bloomer. I didn't really think it was possible until my freshman year of college when I went to University of Florida. Yeah. When I was 8 years old, my dream was to go to the Olympics and get an individual gold medal. But I didn't think it was going to really happen until my freshman year. And then after my freshman year, I was like, you know what? I think I can make a name for myself in this sport. And I just kept feeding off that and feeding off the wins that I did in competitions in the collegiate career. And then I just went after that, and I was like, each year. So how my mindset works is no matter what, at the end of the season, if I broke a world record or got a gold medal or whatever it is, right after that season's over, I put myself down to the bottom. And I'm like, you know what? I didn't win anything. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. I have to bust my ass every day to get up to the top. So that's how I tricked my mind on being hungry every day. Mm-hmm. So I came with that Mamba mentality every day when I went to practice. Even though I had another side of me outside of the swimming that we all know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just a lion every time I went to practice.
I like the Mamba mentality take there. Is Kobe one of your guys that you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Kobe, man,
Yeah.
he's a freak.
Can you hoop?
Yes.
Okay.
One of my first scholarships was for basketball.
Wow.
Ohio State, they wanted me to do swimming and basketball at the same time, but I chose swimming just because there's no other sport that has that feeling. Like, it's my home.
Yeah.
And Florida also owns Ohio State in football and basketball national championships,
sure.
right?
You made the
you
right
made
choice.
the right choice.
Yes.
Speaking of Florida, we had a signing a couple weeks ago with Caleb, and we had these blue Gator caps.
My
the
boy,
swim caps.
my boy.
Awesome dude, awesome guy. He called you, I think, Big Daddy or something. Yeah.
They call me Big Daddy. Yeah.
Which, I mean, you got to love that. But, I had a blue cap, and he's like, put it on. So I tried to put this blue cap on. I look like an idiot. But I'm sure, when you came to Florida, the first time donning the swim cap and, making that choice to come here, was it easy because of Coach Troy, or did you have other places that you were thinking about for swimming?
So, to be honest, University of Florida was the only college that was giving me a full ride.
Wow.
And I wasn't going to go to college if I couldn't have a full ride.
Sure.
And University of Florida was one of the top 5-6 swimming schools in the country, and University of Florida at that time was known for old school, like yardage, hard work, like drill sergeant type, and a lot of people that were ahead of me in my events turned it down. And at the last second, Troy says, "We have an opening, full ride. Do you want it?" I'm like, hell yes. Sign those papers. I was like, I'm gone.
Let's go.
I was like, bye, parents. And I never looked back. And basically, my swimming career started here at the University of Florida.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and you think about it, when you're here, you're the male swimmer of the year twice in the NCAA, like 24, 25-time All-American, all this stuff. But then you were also here in the heyday of Tebow, and you're in the, it's all the 04 guys and Joe Kim. And so was it weird because, you've obviously, you've been to Olympics, but nobody cares about swimming, it seems like, or at least
only
maybe
every 4 years they care about swimming.
So it's you're all these things, but then you're maybe not even the big man on campus. What was it like being around during that time?
It was awesome just because one of the reasons why, not just because of the swimming program here, was University of Florida, everyone, treated me like a family.
Yeah.
And I'm really big in family, and I wanted that. And it didn't matter if I was a small fish in a big pond at the beginning, then I became a big fish in a small pond. But it was I never left, and you guys just treated me with open arms, and I felt home. This is my home.
Well, and I think the cool part about that is just that camaraderie, because you're eating at dining hall with all these guys, and you're hanging out, you're partying with these guys, you're doing all these other things. So it's just all these great athletes from all these different sports and in one spot to pick each other's brains and just almost have that mentality to go compete against them or try to one-best them.
What the best thing is at the dining hall and everything, you're sitting next to Joe Kim Noah, Chandler Parsons,
Yeah.
Tebow, and they're normal people.
Yeah, that's right.
They're not oh, I'm God. No, and we don't talk about sports. We talk about life, joking around and things like that. And I think that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my favorite memories is as a Gator. I was at school at the same time as you were. Is I was at a Zaxby's the day after the national championship, and Joakim Noah was inside Zaxby's watching TV on, I think it was PTI, and they were literally talking about the Gator basketball team and talking about him, going to the NBA. And he just looked up at this small little TV, and he just kind of took a bite of a chicken finger and walked out. Just totally normal, totally just and I love that about Florida athletics. And speaking of just family and stuff, I was thinking a little bit about one of your most competitive races, and a lot of people know the Greek Olympics, the relay, Phelps, the Aussies.
Oh, yes.
Can you talk a little bit about, because I can't imagine the trash talk, or all the hype, and just, is that peak male competition right there? Because it seemed like it was wild.
It's wild as anything. But swimming is not like that. There is no trash talking.
Okay.
It's very respected. You don't there's none of that. really. But one thing I do remember, we were in a huddle, the relay, right before we walked out for finals, and Phelps was like, "This is our time," and I was just like, I got chills just saying that. He's like, "This is our time. This is our pool. Let's get it."
Yeah.
And we went out there, we out-touched them, we won it. Man, and the best thing was when I came home. When I came home, there was half of the university at the airport greeting me. I'm like, is all for me? What the hell? I just swam up and down a pool.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the coolest damn thing. And that's when it comes back to, like, family.
Yeah.
And then I left my medals at the airport when I went to go party after that, but I had to go back.
That's what I wanted to ask you about. I mean, do you know where your medals are? We're talking to Caleb, and he was like, I think my medals are in one of my dressers. I can't remember. Do you know where yours are at?
In my sock drawer?
There we go.
Wow.
I think.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
Couple of them.
Yeah, the kids will steal them if you.
My son like takes them and wears them.
Yeah.
He comes out in like a little banana hammock and the Lochte cap. He's like, I'm daddy.
Yeah,
I'm
there
like,
you go.
Awesome.
That's
I love it.
your creation right there.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite like piece of memorabilia, anything you brought back from any Air Olympics that you have in your house or that you thought was a cool thing or met maybe somebody you met?
I have a story for someone I met, but I don't really keep memorabilia.
Sure.
I don't really like it. I don't know why. So every medal I've won, I have the most medals internationally between World Championships, Pan American Games, the Olympics, all combined.
Yeah.
And I give them away to kids. Like, after I win it, I see a kid in the stand, and I put that medal around their neck, and that glimpse of, like, them thinking, like, wow. Like, them lighting up, I was like, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And so I do that. So I don't really have anything except my Olympic medals. Back in 2008, I was at the dining hall in the Olympic Village, and I was eating McDonald's. Because it's free. Yeah. Of course you can. So I was eating, and I get a tap on my shoulder, and I look, it's Usain Bolt.
Oh, man.
He's like, Ryan, can I sit? I was like, I've never been starstruck. I met Lil Wayne, Jay-Z, like all these people. I could not talk. I was like, yeah. And he just sat across from me, and he just talked about, like, nothing about running, nothing about swimming, just, like, shooting. I was like, I think I peed my pants a little bit.
Well, he also was he eating McDonald's too because he was known for just eating whatever he wanted.
Oh yeah,
so you guys are probably chopping on
because you couldn't really eat the food there because
Sure.
in Beijing, like they were putting steroids in the meat, so people were testing positive.
Oh my goodness!
So the only thing that we really knew was McDonald's.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is awesome. When does one? I know obviously your parents and the swim background and all that other stuff, but when did you figure out you were good at the backstroke? Because like all of us, we just sit there in our pool. Some of us throw on Speedos just to think we look cool, and
leopard print
but like
Speedos.
I don't even know like when. Yeah, I don't even know when to touch the wall. Obviously, you got the flags up there, but like when do you figure out you're good at the backstroke, and that was something you'd be really damn good at?
So my specialty was the underwater kicking, and I found that out just by actually when I was a little kid. Like we had tarps because we swam outside in Daytona Beach, and we had tarps, and like I would always be under them, like kicking underwater, and that's how like my leg strength happened. Like I was just kicking underwater all the time, like hiding away from like my coach, which is my dad, trying to skip practices and stuff like that, and I was just goofing off, and that's how I became so good underwater. And it just became so natural, like swimming backstroke outside. I was like a space cadet. I was like looking at the clouds. I was like, ooh, like this. And I just loved it. And I was just so much faster. And the way my body was, like it just connected doing backstroke more than other strokes. And I just stuck with it. But then I didn't want to be just known as a backstroker.
Sure.
So I trained all the other strokes as well.
All around, that's what you're known for, man. And so, amazing career. Thinking back about the hobby and what we know very well here with cards. I always ask athletes, like, what's it like to see yourself on a card? I know you've got a Topps card, I think maybe an Upper Deck card, and people probably send these cards to you in the mail, they get autographed, things like that. What is it like when you just kind of see a little representation of Ryan Lochte on a little tiny 3.5 by 2.5 card? And does that like bring up any kind of nostalgia, as a kid, with cards or just collecting in general? Or do your kids, are they into it at all?
No, my kids aren't into it. They're more into like video games like Minecraft and crap like that. But I never collected cards or anything like that. But when I saw, like, still to this day, I get fan mail all the time, and people send me like my card, and I still to this day, I've signed thousands of them. I go, babe, look at this. It's my card. I'm on it.
Yeah.
I still like get started. I'm like, what the heck? How is this possible? It's still awesome, and I'm very blessed on what swimming has done for me.
Sure.
But every time I see it, I'm just like, I do a double take. I was like, that's not me. That is me. Oh my gosh.
There it is.
I was like, that's so cool.
Out of all the Olympics, like, what was the coolest town? What was the funnest one to be a part of?
I would say London. Just because, I mean, yes, that was my best Olympics that I had. Everyone spoke English, so you kind of knew you could get around and you knew everything. It was a big city, and on my bucket list when I was younger, I always wanted to ride the double-decker bus.
Oh, yeah.
So that just made my dreams come true. After I won gold, I got to ride a double-decker bus. So
like the Beatles.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Getting after it. When you think about all these things, obviously you did swimming, and then afterwards when you're done, there's just all the endorsements and TV stuff and different things going on. And I mean, you had so many different things. I know Saturday Night Live even did something, on you, which is crazy to to think about.
Him and Tebow, I think that same season of Saturday Night Live, they had
was
things.
all a big thing.
That's
and
awesome.
then even you're hanging on Celebrity Family Feud, which you guys won, I think, right?
Yes, we won.
Let's go.
You crushed it.
Yes.
Like, did you screw around with Steve Harvey, or what was it like being around him?
So in takes, in between like commercials, like he talks to the audience and then he jokes with us, funny as anything. I mean, everything I've done, like I was like, I always want to try something different, and that's why I went into like doing 90210 appearances, like 30 Rock, and like things like that. Having my own TV show way back in the day, like these were all things that like I loved, like, because it took me out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And it was just a cool experience. And not many people can say, like, oh, I had my own TV show. Like, I did.
And that's when people learned how good at golf you are.
Oh, hey,
that episode, right?
Keep that going. Yeah.
Keep that one on the deal.
But, so, I mean, like, what's that like, obviously we all get to watch TV shows, but, like, being behind the scenes of that, are the actors normal? Are they cool to you? Like, what's...
Yeah, I mean, everyone's pretty cool. Like, I don't really get nervous, but I got nervous because, like, I had to get my lines right. And I remember Alec Baldwin, we were doing 30 Rock, and we were doing our scene, and it was in New York, and a girl across with huge knockers walked by, and he's completely stopped. And I was supposed to do my next line. He was like, hey, look at that girl. Wow. I'm like, that's not in the script. What do I do? What do I do? I froze. I didn't know what to do. And so we had to retake it, but it's like you just kind of like with me in swimming, like you just go up there, you know what to do, and you just do it. But it took me out of my comfort zone. But every experience I had was just, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And it was all because of swimming.
Yeah.
Sure.
Speaking of life experiences, you not to shift from just some fun here, but you had a serious life experience about a year ago, and I've been following on Instagram and kind of watching and seeing things that you've been sharing in this journey since this tough car accident to where you are today. And I think it'd be really cool to maybe share with our listeners, our viewers, and people out there to kind of know where you've been the last year, and then what's gotten you to this point to where you've been so strong. You come out and I mean, look at you. I mean, you're Ryan. You know what I mean? And so just to be able to share a little bit on that, and I think that's encouraging to a lot of people to then. And again, how did your training? How did some of what you went through prior in Olympics, post Olympics? How did that convey into this healing process?
So one of my big life lessons is that I've learned through all my ups and downs is you're gonna get knocked down no matter what.
Yeah.
Everyone will. But it's not how you got knocked down. It's how you get up and keep moving forward. And I've learned that the hard way, the easy way. Like, I've learned it, and that was the biggest life lesson. So when this happened, it was a wake-up call, and someone was watching over me. And the hardest thing was knowing that I was not gonna come out of this and see my family again. And after surgery, I was in bed rest basically for like a month, 2 months. And the hardest thing was not being able to move and pick up my kids. And I fell into really like hard depression. And when I was able to get up with crutches and a walker, I didn't even want to go to the mailbox and because I just hated myself. Like, I just felt like a loser. But then after, like, I started getting out of it, started moving forward, started working out a little after like 6-7 months down the road. And as an athlete, like, patience is not our thing. No, we want results ASAP. So that was the hardest thing, is like taking a step back and actually listening to the doctor and being like, baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. Then it got to the point where, like, I'm still like in recovery. It's been a year and like 2-3 weeks. I'm not fully 100% there, but I'm still taking a step further each day, and moving forward, bettering myself. And it's definitely a blessing, and I don't take things for granted as much anymore.
Interesting.
When I did, I started taking swimming for granted. I was like, you know what? If I just train, it'll be there. The gold medal, the money, everything. But now it's like every day I wake up, I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, today's a new day. Hell yeah, let's get it.
Yeah. Yeah, we're 84 guys, born in 84. I turned 40 this month, so I mean,
Woo!
I feel it, man. We're in that club.
Lordy, the boys are 40.
The boys are 40, baby. So I feel you, man.
Well, and I think what's great about all that too, and you mentioned swimming has given you a lot, but I mean, now you're an entrepreneur. Like, you started a website, you got merch, like all this stuff. That's got to be pretty rewarding though, because I know just how much that means to you, and just that grind of still wanting to go out and do a bunch of things.
So the hardest thing was, I was one of the best workers in practice. Like, no one could outwork me. I knew that. Like, I would go until my eyes pop out of my head. Taking that mentality and transitioning to like real life stuff is hard. And because no one really taught us that growing up. They were like, hey, you just get in the pool, swim, get a gold medal. No one taught life after that. So I'm trying to transition into that life now. It's still hard, but anything I do now is to help someone. And I think that's what I'm here for, is to help other people, whether it's putting a smile on someone's face every day, which I try to do, things like that. I'm coming out with my own sunscreen line that hits in the summer of next year.
Got a name for it yet?
Yeah, Lochte.
Ooh, Lochte. Let's go.
That's catchy.
That's good.
Yes.
I like it.
And I think your dad had skin cancer.
Yes, my dad had skin cancer.
I've had like 4 things cut off my face.
Yes, and being in Florida, you're surrounded by sun all the time. So that was something that I really wanted to do, and not having it all organic, no chemicals, things like that.
Yeah.
But having it like more my flavor, being like a fun thing, kind of like the Old Spice stuff. Like, make it fun, but having it actually be
Lochte.
Yes. Lochte, yes.
Yeah.
So doing that and going around the world teaching kids how to swim.
That's awesome.
And just having my own merch, my own website, like things like that. So I'm just trying to attack everything.
Well, in that word, I mean, I try to use that in really everyday life, because like, if you don't have fun, like, what's the point of being around or doing anything? So I think, we're probably very similar in that case. It's just that's what it's all about. Obviously, you got to work, you got to grind, you got to do all these things, but if you're not having fun doing it, what the hell's the point?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. So I do these swim clinics, and there's 3 things that I always tell, that I live by through my whole entire life. 1, listen to your coach or your mentor, whatever it is. Listen to them. They're there to help you, not to hurt you. 2, make sure you guys set short-term and long-term goals. Every day when I was in practice, I set short-term goals, whether for that practice, making sure like I do 5 dolphin kicks off every wall, something like that, because those little goals are going to help out. And sometimes it wasn't even about me. It was about like, you know what, today I'm going to make someone else better. They just broke up with their girlfriend, boyfriend. They're having a bad day. I'd purposely go in their lane and cheer them up and be like, come on, let's get this. And then their dynamic starts raising. Then everyone's dynamic is like our level of intensity goes up. So it wasn't just about me. So those are the short term. And then you have that long term goal. Mine was going to the Olympics, getting an individual gold medal. So every day I woke up, I had a purpose. And then the third one, the most important one, the one that you guys know I had way too much of, is to have fun. Because that's what life is all about, is having fun. And the more you have fun doing something, the more you're going to succeed and the faster you're going to do it.
Yeah. No, I think that everything you've said has encapsulated a lot of things. I mean, we've talked to a few swimmers now, right? And this concept of giving back and family. We mentioned Caleb earlier. He's doing a YouTube channel I saw, and he's teaching people how to swim and these kinds of things. Talking about you giving medals to kids, and that internal mechanism with you guys is just a beautiful thing because it's a give back, and you don't always see that in sports. I think you're seeing more of that as a generational thing. You're seeing more people that want to give back in a lot of different avenues, whether it be through social media, right? I mean, just the posting these things on social media to talk about your journey the last year has probably been encouraging to who knows how many people that follow you, right?
Because it's not about us. Right. It's about the younger generation and helping them out, and we're doing it the best way we can. Me, I know how to swim. I'm a great swimmer. I know everything about swimming. So teaching kids how to swim, it's the second leading most cause of deaths in the world. Easily can be stopped just by teaching a kid. So,
that's what it's all about. All right, well, you think you're great, but can you tackle our rapid fire questions here? It's brought to you by Titan MRI, and there are bunch that have tried, and not many can conquer all of them. So let's see how
gold medal of the Titan MRI.
Ryan Lochte does. All right, when you left Athens in 2004, you're flying back on the plane. Did you think, to yourself, how many medals can I win the rest of my life? Was there a number?
Nope.
No.
I thought I can't wait to get back and start training for my next year.
Yeah.
That's exactly. Once that Olympics was over, I was on the plane thinking of it, being like, man, I can't wait to attack because I did so good at the Olympics. I was like, I'm going to use that and then freaking attack next year because our next year was SEC's was hosted at University of Florida. I was like, I'm going to people up.
Yeah, and you did.
And I did, yep.
We'll alternate these.
All right,
you get
cool.
the next one.
I'll try and keep this one PG-13. What's the weirdest place you've ever had an autograph request?
I mean, body parts, of course. That's fun.
Yeah.
Someone brought a French fry, and they framed it like a McDonald's French fry. And
How did you sign a French fry?
it was basically one line. I couldn't really do anything, but I signed a French fry.
That's wild.
A bunch of foreheads, spoons, shoes. Yeah, you name it, I've signed it.
Has your autograph changed over the years? Has it gotten quicker or pretty much steady the whole time?
It's been the exact same.
Consistent.
Yeah, that's what it is. All right. What's harder to do? Hit a golf ball or take the kids on a vacation across the country?
I mean, I would say before it would be hit a golf ball, but I just got back from taking my kids from California back here. Holy shit. I bow down to any person that can do that because I was like, feed me drinks, please. I need something to relax. I had anxiety up the wazoo.
And your kids are 6, 1, and what's the other age?
7, 5, and 1.
Sorry, 7, 5, and 1. So, I mean, that's a culmination
little
of
ones.
13 years amongst 3 kids. That's a lot of energy.
Yes, a lot.
Wow. So speaking of energy, you got to race Phelps a lot.
Yes.
What did you say when you beat him?
Good job.
That's the OG line right there. Just kind of good job.
Good job. When I took his world record back in 2011, which the world record still stands, surprisingly, after I knew I was going to do it, and when I leaned over, I'd be like, hey, good job. He was like, I was like, sorry.
Because you guys were such close friends, obviously, and racing each other all the time. You always did the same races too.
Yeah.
Did that become your mindset of hey, this guy's a legend. I'm obviously pretty good. You've got that rock star image and all this other stuff. But did you get to the point where say, I'm gonna go freaking beat that guy?
Every time I went up on the blocks, no matter what event it was, I knew I was gonna win. whether I did it or not.
Yeah.
That was the mindset I had. Like, that's the mindset you have to have because I've done the training. I rely on my training, and I've trained harder than anyone in the world. So when I got on those blocks, I was like, this is my event, whether it happens or not.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, like, I was like, this is mine.
Yeah.
So I always had that winner mentality.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of the training, then, did you ever want to punch Matt Delancey in the face? Or
Every day.
Yeah.
Which,
for those that don't know, that was the trainer here and worked out Ryan and went to the garage a bunch and did a bunch of things, but he got you going, huh?
The best strength trainer in the world. He knows how to push my buttons. He's like, his thing is like, oh, I'm roasting hot dogs in your head. Oh, and I'm like, put more weight on now. Let's do another set. Like, he got me to, because we started thinking outside the box. When I got to a certain point in 2008, I was like, I want to do better. How? He's like, let's take your strength training up a notch. I was like, what do you got? We started doing strongman stuff, workouts, lifting. Like, I lifted a 935-pound tire, flipped it. Doing kegs after I drank the keg, I'd lift them. Yeah. Pulling a 425-pound chain, like 100 yards. So, like, I was doing this, and, like, it all correlated to the pool,
Right.
which I dominated back in 2011. So, like, he's one of the main reasons why.
Whether it be Matt or maybe just anything personal, was there ever something you did in training where you were like, I'm always going to remember being able to do this, because you didn't think you could do it? Like, was there ever something you got put in front of you and you were just like, I don't think I can do this, but you did it?
It was a 650-pound tire, and I was supposed to flip it like 6 or 7 times. I ended up flipping it 23 because I was
goat
like,
number there too.
He kept on saying like, oh, you know, Phelps is doing this. He probably did 10 of them. I'm like, oh, and I just kept on getting pissed to the point where Matt was like, you're a beast among beasts.
There we go.
Beasts. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that I got like goosebumps. I was like, let's do it again. So
Love it.
Yeah.
That's what it is. All right. You know, you've worn a lot of like cool sneakers and stuff that I remember. Like, what's the coolest pair you think you've ever owned?
The ones that I designed. They were kind of like high top Supras. I designed them myself. They're white. The rim was white. They were all like lime green with rhinestones around the whole shoe.
Wow.
The bottoms one said Ryan, one said Lochte. So every time you walk on the pool deck and it gets wet, it shows up Ryan Lochte. I was like, and so you always knew where I was. I thought that was the coolest thing. And the shoelaces were not regular shoelaces; they were ribbons.
Yeah.
So it was just like, damn.
Pretty
Wow.
sweet.
That's next level right
Yeah.
there. So, you've been on a ton of magazine covers. You have a favorite one? Vogue. There we go.
Yeah, because I'm like one of maybe, I think, 10 guys to ever be on the cover of Vogue.
Wow.
Look at
So
that.
like that was like, at the time it was like I was like the 4th or 5th guy, and I was like, dude, this was freaking sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
That
thought
trumps your
that was
GQ.
awesome.
I was gonna say
For cover,
my
so-
swimsuit GQ.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. I've heard rumors.
Yes.
And
Ooh.
I feel like we were pretty good at this back in the day, but I think you were pretty good at spades too. Like, how good of a spades player are you?
Oh, me, every Olympics, this was our go-to. Every night, no matter what, we'd always play spades, and Phelps was always my partner, and we'd always wax
Really?
everyone. We'd
Okay.
beat everyone's ass.
All right.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to get a partner and we'll go at it.
Oh, yeah. I'll call Phelps. He'll come over. Let's do
I
it.
think I need an autographed spade, like a card
that'd be
autographed
sweet.
by Ryan
Oh,
Phelps.
heck
That's
yeah.
what I need to get. That's what we need to set up. So.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan, I mean, I had a chance to meet a very intense, driven guy this past year. His name was Rob Gronkowski, and he was just in my face. And I get that same vibe from you, man. Full of energy, full of life, full of just like vigor, and also like no excuses. And I'm thinking about you guys, and as people are listening and watching, what is maybe one word or one rule that you could tell people of a younger generation to live by? I mean, just thinking about it, I'm not trying to encapsulate you into one little thing, but if there was one thing that you could share with a younger generation to say, I know you've mentioned your rules, but what would it be?
A saying or a word?
It could be either or.
If I had to pick a word, it would probably be fight.
Okay.
No matter what in life,
Nice.
when you're broken leg, whatever, you can still fight. You can still get up and keep moving. When you're down, when you're at the highest high, you can still keep going.
Yeah.
Fight. But my best saying, well, I actually have two. One is sky's the limit. Got that from my boy Lil Wayne.
Oh, baby.
Yep. Sky's the limit because
Carter.
sky is like, there is no limit. You just keep going. The world is your oyster. My second one is if you're a man at night, you got to be a man in the morning. And I kind of took that to heart in college, especially because I had two different lifestyles.
Yeah.
I had the swimmer that you don't f- with me at the pool deck. I'm a beast. But after that, I want to leave everything at the pool and live my life. And I separated those, and I think that's why I was able to swim for so long in my career till I was like 37.
Yeah.
Because I was having fun doing it because I separated those two. So if I went out all night, partying, drinking, hanging out with my friends, and I had 6 o'clock a.m. practice, no matter what condition I showed up, I had to be a beast. And that's what I did.
All right, so the last thing, we're in Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, and kind of sticking with that, there's a great bar over there. You get one drink to order, and that's what you're going to get. What's like your first go-to drink?
Johnny Walker on the rocks.
Okay. And then in what town would it be in the world?
Gainesville. Why
There
not?
you go. G Vegas.
See? Way better than any other place in the world.
That's right.
All right, nobody better than you, man. Appreciate you
Thank
coming
you,
by.
thank you.
The great Ryan Lochte. Everybody, check out his merch, the website. Tell everybody the website so they can go.
LochteForever.com.
Okay.
And if you ever want swim instructions, swim analysis, anything you want, go on that website, get it.
There you go.
Good follow on Instagram. Go check him out on Instagram and other socials that you use too, or is that
Just
the main?
Ryan Lochte.
Yeah.
At Ryan Lochte.
There you go.
Plain and simple.
Plain simple, baby.
Plain and simple. All right. The great Ryan Lochte. Everybody, we'll take a break, come back, and tell you about all the new wax that's coming out when we return here on the Meelypod Hobby Podcast. Things have certainly got a little out of hand lately when it comes to just buying our everyday necessities. Just look at gas, streaming services, and heck, even chicken wings. Well, there is one necessity that shouldn't cost a ton: taking care of yourself and helping fix all the aches and pains in life, and the fine folks at Titan MRI agree. With costs a fraction of what you'd pay at a hospital, you'll not only save money, you'll be taken care of by staff with over 20 years experience. So when you need an MRI, call Titan first, and you can go where your doctors send their families. Now offering CAT scans. We welcome you back to the Meelypod Hobby Podcast, brought to you by Meldon Law. They won't back down. Well, we told you that we're in Gainesville, of course, but it's not the center of the universe. Although, is it? DJ Lagway is cards you were talking about, and now all of a sudden we've got a new product coming out, and the heart of it all is some guy named Jack Caglione, and of course, University of Florida, Gainesville guys. So it's like we're in the middle of that Lochte era again.
Yeah.
You have the 04 basketball team winning national championships. Tebo's here,
Yeah.
national championships. Lochte's winning medals all over the place.
We're
What's going on?
We're the hobby, the peak of the hobby volcano, I guess.
Yeah.
We're about to just erupt. We talked about Lagway cards earlier in first segment, but Jack is I think he's going up to New York to Topps headquarters to open up product or do something with them this week. It's going to be really exciting to see just how he's taken in this Bowman draft because, as you know, as a baseball nut, Bazana didn't look the greatest in his play time, and Jack looked great.
Yeah.
And so he's kind of, what happens with it gets sifted a little bit, right? And so his stock has even rose more. What's going to happen in Kansas City now that they got Jonathan India?
Yeah.
The Gators are just everywhere. I mean, Singer left. It's a crazy trade. We were talking to Brady not too long ago. But I have a feeling that his autographs are going to be very expensive. This product is by far the most expensive Bowman draft product that's ever been released. You're looking at hobby boxes at $575, the jumbos, which have 3 autos, I think. You have the super jumbos, which have 5 autos. That is actually they're selling for anywhere from $900 to $1,000, and then you have the Breakers Delight boxes, which are in that $650 to $750 range as well, depending on where you get them from. So this is the most expensive a product that's come out. Now, I know a lot of Bowman guys have been turned off by these prices. It just is what it is. So is it going to be more of a chase where people are going to not open as much wax and buy the singles on the secondary market? Probably. I mean, could you get a Jack, base auto down the line for probably the same price as a single box? Maybe, but you don't have the chances of hitting a superfractor or a red or a gold. So these are the kind of things that you have to think through. We have our break starting this week on it. People are going nuts on it. We've actually had to separate the Kansas City Royals by box in the break because the boxes are only 6-box breaks for the Breakers ones. And so you literally are buying the Caglione or the Kansas City spot in each box.
Is that always the first pick? Or you pay higher for that?
Oh no! So there'll be 6 boxes, and they're literally going to pay. You're literally buying the Royals for per box. So it's when we open that box, box 1, for example, you would get the Jack Caglione card if we pull it. But instead of it having for the whole break, all 6 boxes, it's broken down by the boxes because we have such a want for it here in Gainesville, and everybody's been asking me for it. So we'll see how it goes. There's not a lot of product that was allocated. I think it's going to be really tricky to get. But draft just seems to continually do well. Last year's draft with Skeens and Wyatt in it, you know what I mean? Those boxes are through the roof as well. So I mean, we'll see where this goes, but it's exciting for me that we have, like you said, man, just another guy who has just done so well here in Gainesville now at the forefront of the hobby.
And I think the cool part is, I think there's not many people out there that get to meet these guys or their heroes, so to speak. And, we've had the opportunity to be around these types of guys, and they're just, it's like what Lochte said, like they're just normal guys that, have this aura about them or this mystique that they're, but that's not the way it is. I mean, Jack's one of the kindest people you'll ever meet, and I'll never forget the last day he ever played in the stadium here in Gainesville, and spent about 2 hours signing every kid's autograph afterwards, things like that. So I think that's the neat part, and certainly, I think when the rest of the world, or at least the United States, gets to see him, that might even make it more attractive down the day. It's other than just this big old dude that hits home runs really, really far.
I think I saw on the card it also has his position as pitcher. So on the card they have it the dual. So that's going to be unique to see what happens with him if he's ever going to be used in that dimension. We'll see with the way Major League is now. But I mean when you talk about wax, the jumbo iteration, the super jumbo, the Breakers Delight of Bowman Draft, it's the strongest Bowman product typically every year, and so it's here. It's coming out Wednesday. It's a very interesting product to see and to speculate on. You also have Bazana, that's the Indians, right? And then I think you have some other teams as well where you have some other prospects. So if you're looking to get a kind of deal, you can always find those kind of other teams and breaks and stuff. Yeah. But that's always a fun product because you can put those cards away. Also, there's a product it's coming out. It's called WWE 3 Count, which is a product that was delayed, which I'm excited for because it's going to look like the Panini 1 and the 3 and 2 iterations for my basketball and football. They're going to have one now for wrestling, which is going to be like a really nice encased card. It's 1 per box, so it should be interesting to see how that's going to be taken. There is, let's see here, certified football comes out this week. We have 2024 MLS Chrome, which people are like, MLS soccer. Well, Messi has autographs in that product, so it's always a big chase after Messi autographs, especially for Inter Miami. And we get into this time now where we're focusing on end of year. A lot of these companies are pushing as much stuff as they can to get out. You got people trying to sell stuff, get it off the books, people trying to take in stuff, add inventory. There's all sorts of things happening this last month of the year in the hobby. So if it seems a little overwhelming, just know that it's just kind of the nature of the beast when it comes to wax. You got lots and lots and lots of things being released at once.
And not only wax, I guess I wonder now as we head towards Christmas, we're getting closer and closer for, maybe the non-sports card people, like my daughter, for example. Taylor Swift tickets were $2,000 to get into Miami, and it's like hard to fathom doing that. But is there a market for, like, say, her memorabilia, things like that? I know Target came out with a book that was gone in a day, and all these other things. But do companies make Taylor Swift cards now that maybe the daughters of the world can get? Yeah,
I mean, Taylor Swift is a great example of, she has very few cards. We've had them. We've actually worked with SGC to get them to grade and recognize one of her. It was called a Paladone card. It was put inside these box sets that were like celebrities. But she has kind of a rookie card, some people say as well. So there is Taylor Swift cards out there. They're very hard to find. I would say, a good example is like Livy Dunn, right? So she's now grown into the limelight. Her and Skeens, they have a dual sign 1-of-1 card that they're coming out with. They actually came out with a Livy Dunn Paul Skeens dual card when he won the Rookie of the Year. So there's a world there where we're starting to see culture really permeate the mainline, trading card industry. So there isn't a quote-unquote set brand for Taylor Swift. I think that's a world that's lacking in entertainment collectibles. Music. I've always said to people, why has there not been a hip-hop set? Why don't you have Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and Eminem autograph cards? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Or even a refractor. But I think licensing and contract rights gets very tricky with all that. Forget just hip-hop. I mean, just music in general. You know what I mean? You could just have so much you do with that.
Sure.
So there's a world there. I know that there's been some opportunities, and you've seen some companies try it. Leaf does a good job of getting the sticker autos of Pop Century and putting a lot of the musicians and actors and actresses in it. But maybe that's what you need to create, Jeff. Maybe we need to go out and sign Taylor.
Yeah, figure that out.
I mean, you are a TikTok star. For those of you who don't know, you might want to check Jeff's Twitter out.
Yeah.
You can see this guy putting down some moves. He's now a acclaimed TikTok star. He's gained some brownie points with his daughters.
Yeah, it was good. It was halftime of on Thanksgiving Day, watching the Gator men's basketball game, and they were like, "Dad, you want to do a TikTok?" Nope.
But
come on, Dad.
Dad,
then,
please.
Dad did it. If I would have practiced a little more, I probably would have been a little looser.
Sorry,
I was
Jeff's
just
got
trying
some
to nail
moves.
it.
I mean, for a tall guy, he's got some moves. So
work on it.
he's just his first video, guys. Give him a break, okay?
I'm getting better.
We're getting there.
Yeah. All right. It doesn't get any better than this guy. Check out all of the great things at the Meelypops podcast. Obviously, the Meely shop, and so many things as we get ready for the holiday season.
Yeah. We're almost there, buddy.
It's crazy.
Merry early Christmas and happy early New Year. It'll be here right around the corner.
Yep.
And for those folks of you out there, I warned you last week, don't injure yourself with Thanksgiving football. I had 3 people come into the shop. One said they got a concussion. One said they rolled their ankle, and now they think they have a torn ankle. And I have another guy who thinks he might have torn his ACL in his
Holy
knee.
cow.
So heed the warnings. Once you eat that turkey and you play football, man, it's
all
gonna,
over.
It's going to mess you up.
Yep, it certainly will. All right. Well, it's all over for us as well here. Hope you enjoyed the edition. We do this every week, so tell your friends about it. They can find us on many different platforms out there, and we'll continue to have fun with it here on the Meelypod Hobby Podcast. For Jameel, I am Jeff. We'll talk to you next time.
Thank you for joining us. We will see you next Thursday at noon.